What?
We're here.
Who's that guy?
Me?
Yeah, who's that guy over there?
I feel like the living dead. I feel like this is the first time I've actually been able to carry on a conversation without coughing my brains out. Actually, which is what I did during the intro.
Did
So
you?
I took my time. Yeah, I was drinking water and coughing like crazy.
Well, should we just go ahead and prepare everybody that we're probably going to be pausing or muting ourselves quite often? Because I have a million kids at the house right now because we homeschool, and so there's our co-op meets today, and it just so happens to be here today. So
special guest stars.
That's who knows? We'll bust through the door. You know?
I'm gonna be on the show too.
Right now we're good. So if you hear things in the background, that's what it is.
Okay.
We're here, and this is our second week back from doing some of the lives. We are he said, let's get it. We are Hustle Machine. Jason and I co-host a podcast called Hustle Machine, and that was loud. Sorry about that.
How unprofessional.
I know.
Mute your notifications.
I'm not going to do that because I can't do that. Just I don't know. I can't. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just ignore me.
Do you even know what you're saying?
I don't at the moment because I had something in my mind I was saying, and then that just threw me completely off.
Okay, here, I'll take it. Hey, welcome back. This is Hustle Machine, presented to you on Wednesdays by Wenjack Studios.
That's right. And so one of the things that we are going to be doing is talking about going a little bit deeper into what our podcast that releases every single Wednesday. So if you haven't listened to it, don't leave right now. Wait, just stay where you're at. You're in the right spot. Just stay. And then what we'll do is when you're done with this, go and listen to our podcast. Today we were talking about listening to your gut. And we're talking specifically about Jason's gut. When it gurgles, like you're hungry, gurgle, gurgle.
No, that's you. You're talking about bubble gut? That's you.
No, that's that's different. Bubble guts are different than what I'm talking about. Bubble guts is you should listen to that because that's your body telling you better get somewhere quick.
Find a quiet, private place. You can take care of your business.
Forget private or quiet. Just go and you got business to take care of.
Oh my gosh.
That's what bubble guts are telling you.
No, but today our episode today is listen to your gut bugs, which is we were talking last on the show. Well, I guess talking on today's episode. Yeah, because it comes out Wednesday mornings at 7.
Yep.
We're talking about today's episode, listen to your gut, and then it turned into a thing about listen to your gut bugs, and we talked about probiotics and trillions of gut bugs and shoulder nipples, and we like rambled about a bunch of stuff at the beginning. Yeah, and then we got in. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the shoulder nipples just for a second because I hate that. You know what I'm talking about, and everybody knows it. Is when you put a shirt that kind of like you air dry it normally. If you air dry it and you put it directly on a hanger, it gets these little. Maybe we just have crappy hangers. I don't know. It gets these little bumps that come up. My daughter calls them nipples.
I hang them over a thing. Like I've got like a.
We have that too. Yeah, but when you have too many shirts that you got to hang on that rack, you know what I mean? Like then you got to put them on a hanger and just hang it up.
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, sorry. I thought I had my phone muted. I did not. Okay.
So unprofessional. So unprofessional.
I'm so busy. I'm such a busy professional.
You're just a busy guy.
We did close a deal right before this episode. So.
And you know what? I think we're about to close another one. I just got a notification for that. Yeah. So
so now there is a direct correlation. The more we podcast and ramble about absolutely nothing, the more business we get. Right.
So let's just keep going, and we'll just do a live stream constantly, 24/7. We'll be sleeping and then just pop up and.
This is like what's that movie with the movie with the guy?
Come on. Oh, what's that? What's that? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
That's what you just did. Like, what's you know what I'm
it's top of head. Jim Carrey, he's in the movie and he's always looking at the camera and the camera's following
Truman
him.
Show.
Truman Show. That's it. Yes. So Hustle Machine iteration 2 will be just Truman Show, just 24/7 cameras everywhere. No privacy at all. Good with
No,
that?
bring it on.
Windjacked. Yeah, Windjacked. The next iteration of Windjacked will be a 24-hour cycle where it's just watching podcasters and creators.
I'm gonna be real. People would be extremely bored watching that with me.
Is he going to the bathroom again?
Yeah, right. Well, it would be like
you have bubble gut. See, full circle. I'm just
full circle. I see what you did there. Let's get into it then. Let's get right into it. So today, like Jason said, we are talking about listening to your gut bugs, and it's not anything to do with probiotics or shoulder nipples or any of that stuff. It has a lot more to do with knowing when something, a situation or a business opportunity or a working with a particular client may be bad news. Seeing what those red flags are, or seeing it as a good thing. It might be a 100% good thing, and saying, I have a little bit of a doubt, but everything in me says jump, do this, go for it. Like when you're thinking about, if you're a entrepreneur, thinking about going in full time and doing that thing, and you're like, oh man, my gut says to do it.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you have a built-in intuition, like it's there. And so I think, that's what we talked about on our podcast that launched this morning. You can find it wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Hustle Machine is how you find us. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things that you do to follow us. But when do you, like, we talk a lot about on this podcast, particularly interacting with specific clients, and how Jason and I reached there's so many times where we would have a meeting, or one of us would have a meeting with a potential client, and just something inside you just says, this isn't going to work. Like, this isn't, no matter how much the opportunity sounds really great, and no matter how much you may need the money, is it worth you stressing and worth agonizing constantly over it because you saw those red flags ahead of time and backed out before you got to that point?
Yeah. I think with trusting your gut, there's a strong component that you trust your gut to a point, but then there's also the fact that a lot of people worry about trusting your gut, because when it comes down to it, it's like, man, is there any kind of like empirical data that says I'm making the right decision? Like, where's the data to support that I can do this? Like for example, like a huge thing for us about trusting your gut, and we differ slightly on whether or not we should have launched sooner rather than later, like on full time with our agency, and it's like, you listen to your gut, and your gut's like, man, just do it. You want to do this. You want to be full time in this career, but your brain is like, man, I don't know if this is, like, money. You got a house payment, you got a family, you got vehicles, you got like utilities,
and you got your life,
Yeah, you got things that are riding on this. Like, is this the best decision? And you're like, yeah, it's a good decision. I'm fairly certain. And your gut's like, yeah, it's a great decision. You're like, whoa, brain. Your brain's like, was that your gut? Was that gut talking again? Because that guy, I don't know. He's like 50-50, and so then you get into this overthinking mode. And I think that it's I think that's really common, but there's just something to be said about instincts, and I think when it comes down to business, you have to trust yourself to a certain extent when it comes to instincts. Like, you don't want to go completely off of like a first interaction with somebody. So say like you meet somebody for the first time, and it was just, maybe it was like an off-putting kind of thing. And something was just saying like, I don't know about this. maybe listen to that, but also
Yeah.
maybe give it another chance just to make sure that your gut was right. Because I've been wrong, just as much as I've been right about certain things. But your intuition and trusting your gut, it grows and it gets better the longer you are running your own business and freelancing and whatever it is that you're doing. It's something. It's almost like a muscle. Well, your gut is a muscle. Um, so you gotta keep exercising it. Just as much as you open up Wordle every morning and do a Wordle, and you're exercising your brain, maybe you should take some work on exercising your gut and your intuition and trying to maybe trust yourself. Make an attempt to trust yourself and trust your intuition a little bit more each day.
Yeah, I think that there's definitely not to be skeptical. It's you're given that intuition for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and you're given um, that ability to think through that, so process it. Obviously, don't just jump straight into it. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Ooh, it's pollen season, son. Oh, bro.
Yeah. Did you? Hey,
Awful.
pause. Did you see that? Did you see that thing I sent you? That Instagram reel I sent you about the difference between being uh, up north during spring and being in the south during spring. It's like
Oh,
being
yes.
in the north. It's like, oh hey, what flowers do you have over there? And then like two neighbors are just standing in their yard chit chatting. And it's like in the south, the guy is like literally in his bathtub with a bicycle helmet. Is like, yo, hold on, it's coming. That's
It's
exactly
true.
what it's like.
Yeah, because now there's like a sea of yellow on the roads, and
Yes.
we haven't even hit the peak yet. Like we're just now scratching the surface. You know what I mean?
Can we talk about pollen clouds?
I hate
Oh my
pollen.
gosh. How many times have you looked out? Okay, so maybe this is this has got to be somewhat universal because pollen exists globally, but I think in here in like in the South, it exists exponentially more so, I guess, because we get we're in full bloom right now. Like I looked out my front door yesterday, day before, and there was a cloud of pollen
Just
floating
floating through
by
the air.
the front lawn, like through the air.
It's supposed
It
to
was
rain. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, so it's gonna get washed away for a little bit. Well,
yeah.
and we live right by the lake, so when you drive by some of those coves, you see it floating in like the coves
Yeah.
on top of the water. It's nasty. Um.
Anyway,
So,
continue.
anyways,
I just
yeah. So I don't know where I was going, but what I do want to say is anybody listening to this right now, let's hear some of your thoughts on listening to your gut, listening to what you maybe there's a question, maybe you're hitting a moment right now where you do have some of your gut telling you a certain thing,
mhm.
and you don't know which way to go. We'd love to hear from that. Maybe we can help you navigate that on the show. But yeah, so we talked specifically about one particular client that honestly, if we would have listened to our gut at that moment, because me and Jason both saw the red flags from get go. Right after they signed,
Mhm.
everything seemed normal until they signed, and then it just it was bad for myself. I took it was not a good situation for myself. It wasn't a good situation for the team, just overall.
Mhm.
Um, and it caused a lot of stress. A lot of man hour man yeah man was it man is it man hours, right? No,
Man or woman hours,
man or woman hours that
non-specific amount of hours performed by a human.
insert your pronoun here, hours that we couldn't get back, and it was one of those things that wasn't factored into our proposal.
Mhm.
But we were just trying to be nice, and we've talked about that before on the show. Is it should you be nice?
Mhm.
Um, and so for me, it was. I think if we would have seen that sooner before that person signed on, we would have said this isn't a good go. Um, and honestly, it came down to a it really came down to it got dirty. It got really bad. It was not a good situation. Let's see, Chris Says, I do tend to overanalyze at times. For those types of individuals, what advice would you give? I tend to be that way. I tend to be the type of person who overanalyze. But, I think that everybody does at some point. But naturally, that's my instinct. And I even say on the show is that I'm oftentimes slow to make a decision because I want to look at what's the scene of Jim making a pros and cons list, and Michael's like, if you say a pros and cons list,
that's when he's their co-regional managers, right?
Right. Yeah, he says,
Yeah.
I swear, if you say, because let's make a pros and cons list.
Yeah.
But I do analyze it to a point where it's like you get frozen and you don't make a decision at all. And
analysis paralysis.
Ooh. Did you make that up? Was that like
I did not just make that up.
Okay.
It's a thing. Analysis paralysis.
Well, 100%. I get that way sometimes. And I think that's the moment where you have to lean into it and make a decision of yes or no.
Yeah.
Because if you sit on it long enough, you can analyze it to the point where you just don't make a decision at all.
Analysis.
I guess you are making a decision. You are saying, "Oh, I'm not going to do it," because you're not moving forward.
Yeah.
Think
about how many opportunities throughout life you've had that you have either waited too long to make a decision for. Yeah, we'll just think about that. Yeah, think about how many opportunities you've been given in life that you just waited and that you kicked yourself on. But there's probably just as many that you were like, man, I dodged a bullet on that one,
Yeah.
But which is what we're talking, which is the whole thing that we're talking about is analysis paralysis is a very valid thing. Like overthinking something to the point where you are unable to do anything. You're unable to do anything. I think there's a point where you're starting it. The whole need for analysis of the situation is to go, okay, my gut immediately said, yes, I think we should jump into this this decision. I think this is a good idea. And then your brain kicks in and it's like, you know what? Let's think about this. Okay. Well, you know what? Let me give into that. Let me analyze the situation before I just jump in, because I think it's good to have that balance. And you go, okay, this is pretty good. Pros, cons list. Yes. Might be annoying to some, but it is a valid tool to be able to think through the situation and fully think through it. But then I think at some point you need to go, you know what? My gut says yes. My brain initially says yes. So let's just jump in. But it's an exercise that you have to do. I think, it's something that you have to continually work and grow at. It's not just something that you're not going to go in. I would never recommend you just go in every time and be like, rock star, I'm just trusting my gut every single time. I'm not even thinking about it. Like, it's a balance that you need to have.
Yeah, but you know that there's I know people that are like that just jump at everything. And usually those are the type of people. But I also know that the pendulum of that. But usually the people who are saying yes to every opportunity are very overwhelmed, very stressed, very frantic.
Okay, insert another Jim Carrey movie, Yes Man.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
A long time ago, but yeah.
So he was rejecting things throughout his life. And the whole premise of it was he met this ridiculous guru that was like, say yes to every experience that you have. And while at the onset was good, like it was like the fact that he like forced himself to say yes and then had like a positive encounter because of it was good. Now he took that to the extreme and literally said yes to every single experience in his life, and turned out to be very stressful and very chaotic and not something that he could keep up. But I do think that there is value in a balance, right? So trying to force yourself out of the box, because it's really easy. Just like we're parents, it's really easy to just say no to a kid. Like, hey, I want to do something, and you don't really feel like it, right? You don't really feel like doing something, so you say no. Okay. Oh, we've got a who do we have on
John.
the show today? John.
How's it going, John? Leave some of your comments. We're talking about gut bugs.
John, what are your thoughts on trusting your gut, analysis paralysis, all that jazz? Tell us what you think.
Over there in the comments.
But like I was saying, with kids, it's really easy if they come up and you're working on something, your mind's somewhere else. Especially for us because we're working at home, and so we're always kind of in this environment. For them to go, hey, I want to do such as, oh, not right now, not right now. How easy is that? It's really easy. It's really easy to just say no to a kid, and I feel like it's just as easy to say no to life experiences and to say no to future business ventures. When maybe you listen to your gut for a second, you take a beat, listen to your brain for a second, balance it all out, and then make your decision. So,
yeah, and I think you got to be careful too, because I think that sometimes you say yes and to a good situation in your mind, and then you get into it and you realize that it's not. But now you're dependent. Excuse me, you're dependent on it, and so I think there is. There goes my notifications again. I think there is value in taking a beat for a second and analyzing it, but not overanalyzing it. Get to a point where you feel like there's an immediate response.
Yeah.
After you've thought about it, and then make the call, make the jump to whatever that situation is. And I think that a lot of times, like I said, there's people on the other side of that spectrum who don't ever say anything, or don't not say anything. They don't ever take those opportunities. They overanalyze it to the point, or they just shut it down every time it comes up.
Yeah.
And those are the people who usually are grumbling. They're the people who say, well, nothing ever comes my way. Nothing ever happens to me. When's it my turn? And it's like, well, you've passed up a million opportunities because you were too scared to jump into, or you overanalyze it too much where you don't ever make a decision. So I think you have to find where's that healthy balance for you. And I think that's actually what we talk about on the show, is just finding where is that healthy balance for you, listening to those gut bugs to the point where you can make the right decision. But at the same time, you're not going to always make the right decision. You're going to think you did the right thing. You listen to your gut, you get into it, and it's like, whoa, well, that was a mistake.
That was just bubble gut. That was not my gut brain at all. That was just my gut.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to pause because I have something I want to add to that. But I also want to mention we have a part of the Hustle Machine community. Part of the Hustle Machine goal is to build a community, right? So our goal is to connect with entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, freelancers, small business owners, people who are in it and often alone and feel like they need some type of connection. We have Garen. Hello, Garen.
That's a cool name. I like
Welcome to the show. And he says good morning, everyone, and glass clinking.
Cheers, my friend.
He's in it.
Cheers. I probably just messed up my camera now, but
no, you're good. It didn't change focus. But one of the big things that we're doing with this, with our podcast and with this Hustle Machine brand, is to build a community. So with that said, make sure that you go and find us on Facebook, Hustle Machine Podcast on Facebook. And we also have a group that we have started to create. It's a private group. So you can go and you can check it out. And it's just Hustle Machine with our fire logo. And you can join the group. And in there, we are just trying to foster an atmosphere of group growth and mentorship, and really just trying to make sure that freelancers are not alone. Solopreneurs and entrepreneurs who are in it by themselves are not alone. Garen writes, appreciate what y'all are doing. I'm a content creator on LinkedIn, and I'm working to elevate the Winject community. Awesome. Yeah.
Content creator. I like that.
Yep.
Oh, let's go and yeah, it's up there now. Yeah. I just wanted to see. Yeah, let's put up his website there.
Microstudio.design. Cool. Go check it out. But yeah. Okay. So we talked about the Facebook group. Yeah. So go find us on the Facebook group and join in the discussion. We're not you know, plugging anything. It's just the group. So like we have like free resources that we're starting to put out to the group. The free planner that we gave out last week, it's over there. We'd love feedback on that as we grow the learning resources for the community. Anyway, but going back to what we're talking about, listening to your gut, intuition, saying yes to experiences. One thing I want to say is I want to throw into the mix is, why are you saying yes? Or why are you saying no? Like, what's the reason behind it? So, like, if your initial inclination is to be like, nah, I don't think that's really the best business decision. Well, why? Or yes, let's make that business decision. I feel like a lot of people, especially people who are solo or a small business, they might say yes because they need the money. I mean, that's just like a fact.
It's just real reality.
You take a lot of business, especially when you're starting out, because you need the money. You're like, well, I don't really do that, but I guess I could do that. I feel like that's a conversation that you have with yourself a lot as a freelancer, a lot as a small business owner, going, well, that's not really what I want to do. It's not really my specialty. So like case in point, we built a website for a really talented photographer, Catherine LaChance. Shout out to Catherine LaChance, based here in Georgia. When she was starting out, she was just doing all photography. So she's doing like family photos and wedding photos and newborn photos and any kind of like holiday photo shoot, whatever. And it was really to gain experience and to gain exposure. But when I was talking to her the other day, she's coming back from maternity leave, and I was like, is there anything that you want to do? Is there anything you want to do in the future to help to change this? Like, do you want to shift your focus? What do you want to do? And she's like, you know what? I want to take away all of my services except for this one. Like, this is the focus of what I want to do. And it's because she was saying yes to all these experiences to gain experience, to gain exposure, to grow her brand. She was doing all of these things. And then she was, after a while, after she listened to her gut to just say yes. Yeah, just do it. Just do it. Let's get some money. Let's do this. And then after a while, she's like, you know what? Let me actually pare back and let's refocus and let me listen to what I want to do rather than just like the initial inclination of just saying yes to get that experience. So I think it's really important to one, listen to your gut, to two, have balance and listen to your gut and your brain and balance it out and exercise that dialogue back and forth, but also try and think deeper about that underlying reason behind why you say yes or no to an experience.
Yeah, I think oftentimes we make rash decisions out of desperation, and that could be detrimental to your business. It could be detrimental to your. I think it could be detrimental to your health in a lot of ways too. I mean, there's so many ramifications that can happen when you're in a desperate situation, a dire situation. And we've all been there. I think that it's no one's immune to that. Like we're all humans, so we all suffer from it. But it's, Jason said, we're creating a group on social media, on Facebook. You can see the link in the comments. On LinkedIn, I think it is that's where that's at right now. But we'll put it back on the screen here in a minute. But that's the goal there, is for you to be able to bounce those ideas, bounce those things off of people instead of just relying on just yourself. Because I think a lot of times, a lot of entrepreneurs they do it on their own. And I told you, I think it was last week when I talked about how I'm in a group with some other entrepreneur guys, and we kind of bounce some stuff off each other. And a lot of them are on their own. And it wasn't until this group was formed that they actually had other entrepreneurs who understood what they were going through, and they're asking a question like, "Does anybody ever deal with this?" I'm like, "Yes." And they're like, "Okay, gosh, I felt like I was by myself." and I've heard that a lot from several entrepreneurs, and there are some entrepreneurs that have it together where they do have a group of mentors and That's awesome. And
Think about how long those other people in the group would have just sat with that insecurity and sat with that self-doubt and just all those negative feelings until someone spoke up and said, anybody else have this issue? Like, whoa, like what a huge benefit of having an actual peer group and community that you can speak to, that's why that single interaction that you just told, that's why we started this whole thing, is to have those moments.
And it's really, we started it not to say like, look, we've got it all together. See what we've been doing. No, we need the group just as much as you do. And that's the whole reason we started it. I mean, Jason and I have each other and a lot of, warm fuzzies. But we have each other, but at the same time, I think there's value in hearing from others from different parts of their journey. In this group, I'm actually the newbie in the entrepreneur, doing it full time, I should say. I've been doing it probably as long as they have, but not at the level that they were at. And hearing some of what they deal with and hearing what I'm dealing with, it's like we're linking arms together and saying, we're not going to let you give up. We're not going to let you struggle. We're not going to let you go down a dark path. We want to help you. And that's the whole reason we've created Hustle Machine, is to talk. And that's what we talk about on our show. Most of the things we're talking about is things that entrepreneurs are going through, things that you're thinking about, that your peer group that are not entrepreneurs or don't know those things are dealing with. And you want to be around a group of people who understand what you're talking about.
You want to be heard, and you want a space to be able to ask those questions that a lot of business owners feel embarrassed. Like, why is it? I'm not saying that I'm not this way. I'm just saying, like, why is it that we feel, as a collective human species, why do we feel so embarrassed to ask a question that makes us seem like we don't have it all together? Like, why is that? Why is that a thing?
Well, it's insecurity. That's why. I mean, it's just like when you're in school, you don't want to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't want to be embarrassed. It's an insecurity thing. You want to come across as you got it together.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to feel like, no one wants to be looked at as, this person doesn't know what they're talking about. This person doesn't
whoa, why are you pointing
have it
at
together?
Me?
Yeah, this guy. Well, you know what? I'll point him right back to.
I'm literally pointing off screen. I'm so bad because it flips it. It just mirrors it. So
I'm in the same. I did the same thing just now. I think we're all on that same. I think it's just we want to portray a certain level of professionalism, or that we've got things together, when if we were all being honest, a lot of us are faking it. And I remember thinking that as a kid, like, you look at adults and you're like, man, at what age do you get to a point where you go, you just know everything? And then you're still wondering that, like, I'm about to be 38 this weekend, and it's like, you look at it and go, when is that going to happen? Because I still feel like I'm faking on a lot of stuff. Yeah. So
I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no, you're right though. It's insecurity, I guess. And I think that maybe that's our goal. Maybe that's one of our sub goals that we never even realized, is trying to pull back the mask and, I guess, be open, I guess, with insecurity as a business owner, to be able to ask questions, because that's something that our success would not have been. We would not have been able to do what we've done if we were not asking questions, if we were not, comfortable enough to be like, I don't know how to do this. Like, how do you do this? It's like, you're always looking to other people who have answers, but they didn't have the answer. They weren't born with the answers. They got it from somewhere else, whether they had their own intuition that they drew it on and came up with that answer, or they looked for advice from someone else. So
that's just like right before the call, we were talking about a particular client's project we're working on, and we were questioning it. back and forth, and you had your point of view and I had my point of view, and we were both like, yeah, but we were bouncing out. The point I'm getting at is we were able to bounce some stuff off each other really fast and come to a collective agreement on what we needed to do.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are missing that, and that's exactly what we want to create. So if you're listening to this, you're by yourself, even if you're not by yourself, even if you do have a team, we'd love to have you join. Because I think we can learn from each other. So join the Hustle Machine group. We're growing that, and we will be able to bounce things off each other. We'll post some helpful articles and helpful tips that we're learning from. We want you to do the same, and that's what it's for.
Yeah, for sure.
You got anything else, Jason?
No, just thank you so much for Winject Studios for having us on Wednesdays now. We're on Wednesdays at 10 Eastern. Again, our Hustle Machine podcast drops every Wednesday morning around 7 o'clock or so. And listen to wherever fine content is consumed. What's that? Right. I can't remember what that phrase is. Anyway, but yeah, so thank you so much for Winject for having us on. Check them out at winject.com for more details there. We are a part of that community. So go out and do your best. Listen to your gut.
Listen to it.
See you guys.
Later.
Podcast is brought to you by Winject Studios. We are an all-in-one educational platform for podcasters that revolutionizes how hosts leverage content to increase engagement with listeners, downloads, and income. We come together to focus on community, collaboration, and collective impact. For more information on how you can interact directly with our hosts, access exclusive live content with offers you can't get anywhere else from our official partners, join our purpose-driven community by visiting www.winject.com. If you're ready to build a career doing what you love, then we're ready to see you there.